So I was at the gym today and I took a break from working out while I was going through my coffee and caffeine fast because it's hard. Like you guys know, you have the headaches and all of that. So I haven't worked out in like several weeks. And so this week is like my first week back. And, I wanted to do the same workout, like the same routine that I used to do. And so, I'm on the stair climbers today, and I usually go up to level 10, and I do that for like 30 minutes prior to my workout. So I'm on the stair climber, and I'm 8 minutes into it. I am sweating. I'm sweating. I'm exhausted. I'm fanning myself. And I start telling myself, you know what? You haven't been to the gym in a while. You've quit coffee. You've cut out the caffeine. There's no way you're going to be able to get back into the gym after a couple weeks and do the same routine that you used to do. So I start telling myself, maybe I only do 12 minutes today on the stair climber instead of 30 minutes, right? And, when you're on the thing and you're going that fast, like it's hard. It is kind of painful even to keep going. Like your muscles are sore and aching, and you just kind of want to, there's no one there making you do it, right? You want to just do something different. But, I tell myself to keep going, and when I was at 10 minutes, I said, just make it to 15 minutes, right? And once I got past that 15, I would say the 15 to 17-minute mark, I hit my stride. And this happens, right? Like you can be struggling on that stair climber. And then once you get past a certain time, it's like this, you get this second wave of endurance, right? Where you can keep going. And so once you get past that 15, 17-minute mark, you could keep going. So I kept going until 30 minutes, and I even challenged myself to do another 15 minutes before I leave the gym. So it's just that change of mindset, right? And it made me think about the importance of mindset. That when things are tough, you keep going, you don't give up, you don't give in. And this can be difficult, especially like, look, you guys know I'm going through a lot right now, trying to get a film done, a big, massive project. There are going to be times where you go through trials and tribulations and struggles and challenges. And I think it's important to look at those things as blessings. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. When people let you down, don't give up. Keep going. I think it's easy to forget going through our daily routine. In many ways, we're kind of reacting to things that are happening around us. There are external things happening that are outside of our control. And I think that we get so caught up in our day-to-day routines, we forget that we write the story. You get to write your own story. We are writing history right now. What we do today will make that impact. Like we can decide history. We forget our power. We allow ourselves to be diminished, and then we adopt that mindset of making ourselves small. I think another thing too is many of us, many people in general, especially many people in the West, are depressed, and they get into this mindset of constantly being negative. They ruminate about the past, things I could have done differently, or past opportunities that maybe you feel like you squandered, and you tell yourself this negative story about yourself, and you spend all this time focused on the past, things that happened in the past. This is all stuff you cannot change. You are not defined by your past or yesterday's failures. That does not affect today. Today is a new day, and what you do today can be different, and who you are today it can be, somebody different. You can be somebody different in the future than who you were in the past. Like, we forget that. And I think also we forget, like, we become dulled to the monotony of modernity, and we lose our childlike wonder. We lose our sense of awe in the world. In some cases, your brain filters out information it perceives as non-relevant. We are even closing our perception to the beauty of the world around us, and I think that's really sad. And people need to rediscover their passion. That one heart on fire can set the world ablaze. I truly believe that one person who is passionate, who perseveres, who keeps going, can inspire others. It's something to consider also when you're struggling, when you are in pain, when you are, suffering a setback, or you feel like you're failing. It's important to understand that it is only the difficult things that are the things worth chasing. And you guys know this, right? For example, when you get something given to you, you tend to appreciate it less, right? Versus when you have to work for something, say there's something that you want to purchase, and you have to work and save up maybe multiple checks you're saving away in order to get this thing that you want. And so by the time you get it, you have a whole different way of looking at it. Like, you're much more grateful, but you treat it with more care. You're less careless with it. You're going to make sure that you put it in its case or put it away, whatever, because you went through such a difficulty in order to obtain it. And this is because meaning in life is tied to things like conquering the unconquerable. I think everybody knows, especially in the West, I think there is this spirit of wanting to go out into the world and conquer things, and I think that part of the issue with modernity is that a lot of the challenge, that hero's journey, if you will, has been taken from people, and or whatever, or people just go into this limiting mindset, and they forget that we have the ability to take down giants. Our faith can move mountains. You do not want calm. I know you might think that you do, or it sounds nice to have a life of comfort, especially when you're going through a time of turbulence, of tribulation, where you're struggling and you're doubting, you're worrying. But we do not want comfort. We want the opposite of that. You want to go outside your comfort zone, and you want to learn your endurance. When other people would turn back, you want to be the person who is constantly pushing forward. And there is pain in that. Like, you will have trials, setbacks, failures. That is the cost of making a difference. Obviously, it takes time, and the world won't understand you, and that's okay. You may get mocked and ridiculed. A lot of times that happens until you achieve what you set out to achieve, that everybody else might think is absurd or a pipe dream, or, yeah, right, you could never do that. Once you achieve that, they're not going to be laughing then. But falling down, navigating setbacks is not failure. That pressure that you are under, that you're feeling, that same kind of pressure is what creates a beautiful and strong diamond. Diamonds are created under pressure, and you are being forged into the person God knows that you can be. We all get overwhelmed, I think, with worries, with doubts. We all have times where we feel like maybe the Lord has forgotten us, or we feel like the Lord has called us to do something, has put us on a path, has put something on our hearts, and then we expect it to come right away, right? Because God has put me on this path. I know that this is his will. And then you expect it to happen almost on your timeline. You think that that should come immediately because you think, well, why would God tell me that this is what he wants me to do? And then why would he pull the rug out from under me? Or you start thinking that way. And we've all been there. You can try to deny it, but I know you've had an experience like that where maybe you doubted God or you felt like he had abandoned you. It is very difficult during these times to think that maybe we are exactly where we need to be because God knows things that we don't know. It's, like I think about this, a good thing to relate it to is my time when I was homeless, right? Obviously now as an adult, I have very different feelings about that situation than I did when I was experiencing it. When I was going through it, it was terrifying. It was horrible. It was awful. I mean, I had like so much anxiety. I couldn't even sleep at night. I had to take sleeping pills at times because I would just stress so much about what's going to happen to me. However, it didn't occur to me that like maybe I'm exactly where I need to be in this moment, that maybe God has thrown me into the fire so that I'm learning that I am strong enough to overcome this challenge. He doesn't give you more than you can endure and overcome. And many times you don't know what you're capable of until you're thrown and thrust into that situation with nobody there to catch you or to help you. And you have these setbacks, or you're in this dark situation and it feels like that it's cruel, right? You feel like God is being cruel for allowing me to suffer like this. What have I done wrong? Why does he hate me? But what if actually he knows exactly what you can become, and in order to become the person he knows you could be, that you have to have these experiences to grow, right? And then you realize I'm capable of getting myself out of this. I'm capable of overcoming these challenges. I can endure these things. And so I wanted to bring up a quote from Heraclitus. Out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even be there. 80 are just targets. 9 are the real fighters, and they make the battle. But the one is a warrior, and he will bring the others back. You want to be the 1 out of 100. And that's really like what we're doing here. That's what we're doing with the documentary. We have a goal to bring the others back. Trials, tribulations, failures, these aren't setbacks. I'd like you to look at them instead as stepping stones. And I know it sounds difficult to do that in the moment, but think about how these are not things that you're not falling down. You're actually being elevated by your failures onto the path to greatness, right? Because people who never try, who don't have the guts to take risks and put themselves out there, they never experience failures because they never even tried in the first place, right? We know that adversity builds character. It is through these struggles that you discover your true strength and resilience. And if you were not put in that situation, you couldn't learn these things about yourself. Imagine a life where everything is idyllic, is perfect, where there's no challenges. Everything is a completely smooth journey. Imagine how boring that would be. While it might sound utopian at first, it would be so bland, wouldn't it? It would lack a richness, it would lack gradation and depth, which comes from facing adversities and challenges head on and overcoming them. Our trials and tribulations often serve as catalysts for our own growth, primarily spiritual growth. This is the thing that pushes us outside our comfort zone, beyond our comfort zone, pushes us to places we never thought we could go. It pushes us to accomplish things that maybe we thought weren't possible. And it makes you face your fears, your limitations. And then in doing so, you discover your own hidden potential and the resources you have just inside yourself to cope with these things. And that empowers you to rise above challenges that, maybe seemed impossible to overcome. Failure plays a crucial role in your journey towards not just self-improvement, but like self-actualization, personal fulfillment. It's through going through these challenges that you learn the valuable lessons that give you insight into who you are as a person. Like, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? These are things that you learn. Each setback is actually an opportunity for you to, number one, do some introspection, and number two, to grow. And this gives you a greater self-awareness, I think. And then from that self-awareness, when you start to learn who you are, that provides a resilience because I got this. I can get through it. I think also our failures serve as proof of our drive, our ambition, our willingness to take risks that maybe others aren't willing to take. It's not a mark of defeat. It is proof that you had courage and that you have perseverance to keep going. It takes courage to pursue your dreams, knowing that failure is a possibility, knowing that most people do fail, but it is through that willingness to embrace potentially failing in front of everybody and being embarrassed or being laughed at that we actually are paving the way towards being successful, because nobody who's successful now got there by playing it safe, not taking risks, or by having a perfect, comfortable life. That's just not the case. So I think it's important as we are navigating our trials and tribulations that we try to maintain a mindset of gratitude. And I know that is hard. Trust me, I know, especially in the moment. It's usually not until looking back that you go, wow, while that was a really hard and painful experience, I'm actually glad that I went through that. It's typically not until hindsight, right? It's hard to have that gratitude in the moment and to have faith that I'm going to get through it. But I think that that's important. And that you remember the lessons that you learned, that you remember that the strength that you gained from that and the growth that you were able to achieve, rather than ruminating and dwelling on perceived failures or whatever. Try to look at it instead as opportunities for transformation and for growth as a person. And it's strange to me too, where, we know the Bible tells us one can chase 1,000 and two can put 10,000 to flight. And yet we still have this fear. It's because our faith is so little. We need to remember that the Lord does not make mistakes. He doesn't. Time does not exist for him the way it does for us. We have to develop this mental toughness, if you will, or actually a spiritual toughness. The Lord oftentimes, he's challenging people. He's allowing them to experience failures and suffering and pain as a way to test their faith, to make their faith stronger. I know how hard it is when you get knocked down again and again and again to keep getting up, right? After you get knocked down so many times, most people are like, you know what? I'm just going to stay down. I'm not going to continue to get back up so I can just get hit in the face and knocked down again. but you need to be the person who gets up that one more time, just that one last time, because God will make a way for you, but it requires you to not give up. He'll make the way, but you still have to be there. You still have to show up so you can go down that path, right? And think about too, like for King David, it took years for him between when he got his anointing until he actually was king. That didn't happen overnight. He didn't lose his faith, though. He didn't doubt, and he never gave up. He didn't say, oh no, the Lord has forgotten me. He maintained his faith and he kept going and persevering. And we need to be the same way. Now, I want to close out the video because I think it's gotten a little long. I'm just going to read some scripture for you guys that I think you'll find edifying, hopefully. James 1:12, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. So when you go through and endure temptation, trials, tribulations, you're actually receiving the crown of life. Romans 12:12, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing in constant prayer. John 16:33, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. The Lord tells us repeatedly that we are going to experience tribulation, trials, suffering in this world. That's what we're called to experience, just like him. And we need to pick up our cross and follow him. Exodus 14:14, the Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not on thine own understanding. There are many things that we're experiencing in the moment. We don't understand why we have to feel pain and suffering and heartache and sorrow. We don't understand it, but the Lord, tells us to lean not on our own understanding, but to trust in him with all your heart. Romans 5:3, and not only so, but we glorify in tribulations, also knowing that tribulation worketh patience. We learn to be patient through our trials and tribulations. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthen me. Remember that. Isaiah 41:10, fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Hebrews 11:6, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder for them that diligently seek him. In Proverbs 29:25, the fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. And so I just want to encourage people to change your mindset a little bit. Try to think of your trials and tribulations, your suffering and pain, not as negative and bad things, but actually as opportunities and frankly, as blessings. And that's it for now. This video has gotten a lot longer than I wanted it to be or than I anticipated. So that is all. I hope everybody has a good day. And I'm interested to know what your thoughts are. So please, if you like this video, consider giving a like, leaving a comment. It helps with the algorithm. And you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. They make it so difficult now. It used to be like a one-step process. Now it's a three-step. You have to hit the subscribe button, and then you also have to click the little bell to get all the notifications, which is so silly. And also, if you enjoyed it, if you want to leave a super chat or a super thanks or whatever, they have those, you could do that. And also, if you enjoy my work, you consider becoming a member of the channel, a monthly supporter. All right, that's it for now. Have a good day.